frightening with the Flanders.
Like a sacrificial lamb thrown to a pack of wolves, John entered the darkened hall, ready to be devoured. All eyes were on him, following his every shaky step with ravenous intent. Lips trembling, he fought to make words as the moisture from his mouth turned to sand, but it was too late. Before the first raspy syllable could be uttered, they pounced. Flesh was stripped from muscle, muscle stripped from bone, and all John could do was submit. As the beasts fed upon the soft, chewy bits of his insides, he turned to the darkness around him and screamed, "Let me die!" From the darkness came a gruff voice, one of cold calculation, with a simple, amused response, "No." Defeated, he threw his head back with tear-filled eyes as his eternity continued to swallow him whole. There was no escape. It was another Monday morning staff meeting. Reborn into the chaos of his waking nightmare, he is taken from the wolves that devoured his soul and tossed to the ground like bitter refuse. Without warning, he is scooped from the dirt as shackles of boundless weight and despair are slapped upon his aching wrists, and he is forced to push against the heavy machinery that runs through this hell. His ears become burdened with the agonizing wails of 1,000 other damned beings around him, and he realizes he is no closer to fleeing than they are. This is why John hated Tuesdays. The phones were always on the fritz in the office. Dawn breaks, and the cry of the siren's call pulls him back from the recesses of his inner paradise. He looks around. The rusted cogs and pulleys of the dreaded machine dance against the flickering light of the blast furnace that is his cell. Grimacing at the sticky hot ozone burning the insides of his nostrils, he pries himself from the stony floor yet again, only to immediately put his weight against the turning wheel of unending frustration. This time is different, however, for in the distance, playing against the fiery glow, rests the long, crude blade of a chainsaw. In that instant, a fire so intense, so untamable, burns hotter in him than any furnace, and for the first time in God knows how long, he lets loose a half smile. He may still be enslaved to Wednesday, but with a tool of mass destruction sitting so close he can taste the blood-caked steel. It was only a matter of time before his captors knew the fullest extent of his misery as it was brought down upon the backs of their necks. Until then, he'd deal with the flickering fluorescent bulb overhead and make sure to add the maintenance tech to his list of pain. Or at least write him a strongly worded email. John ran as fast as he could, letting the chainsaw he held guide him not only through the tight halls of the lower sanctum, but through the hordes of creatures whose only purposes were to oppress and dominate. He was a brutal storm of evisceration and rage, becoming baptized in the downpour of thick, ruby droplets spewing from the stumps of those that had wronged him so. And now, as he approached the Overlord's main chamber, his knuckles went white as he struggled against his nerves to keep a firm grip on the Reaper of Death in his hands. This is what he'd been waiting for all along. This was his vengeance paid in full. Without waiting any further, he opened his boss's door and slapped all of his files down on his desk. John had slaughtered mandatory case note Thursday. Emerging from the darkness of the ever-tormenting void, John fell to his knees muttering, "I did it. I did it," then dropped his gore-soaked chainsaw to the ground. His eyes searched everywhere, scanning intensely for another onslaught, only to be met with the inviting rays of sunlight beaming down from above. The odds were against him. He knew that when he took on the role of process manager, but now he knew he'd come out victorious. Suddenly he threw his head back and let loose a guttural scream. Not of pain or anguish, but of elation. He survived. Another work week was over. Friday had been defeated.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.